Hi Aries, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your November 2023 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, take out the cross spread as always, and also pull the 4 agreements, wisdom, oracle, and mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling those astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright. So we have Neptune, and Neptune's been in your 12th house for quite some time, and that's Pisces. 12th house in general points to spirituality, blind spots, and mental health. Alright, we have Sagittarius. Sagittarius is your 9th house of philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, and of course, as we get toward the end of November, we'll be in Sagittarius season. And we have 8. So 8th house energy for you guys is Scorpio, and of course we'll be in Scorpio season for the first few weeks of November, so it makes sense to see that come up as well. And in general, 8th house points to death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments. Alright, so following our way, we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Page of Pentacles, and challenging that, we have the Sun. So really what I'm getting with this could just be saying that you might feel like a goal of yours is just out of your reach. And the challenge there could be to just take a more light, playful approach to it. I feel like this is saying that maybe there's a level of rigidity that you're approaching this with that could be causing a bit of a blockage within the situation. So I feel like this is saying to just take a more light, playful approach with things this month, and possibly even just to have a little bit more faith in the situation as well. Alright, in foundation position, we have the Hierophant. So this is the major arcana card for Taurus, and Taurus energy for you guys does point to possession, self-worth, finances. So yeah, again, I feel like the message is repeating to an extent there, which is to say, I feel like this is another indicator of saying to have a little faith and also just tune into things on a more spiritual level instead of that strictly rigid, analytical, logical side of things to get some more insight into how to move your situation forward. Alright, in the past position, we have the 9 of Pentacles. So to me, this says that you probably did have that feeling in the past, right? And I feel like while you were in that energy, you were experiencing growth, right? Improvement within your situation. And for whatever reason, maybe as you approached your goal and got closer to it, then you might have stiffened up a little bit, right? Like, oh, okay, you got to make sure everything's just perfect, right? Because it probably for a lot of you has been such a long journey that now you're just really tightening up to make sure that it doesn't slip through your hands. Alright, in the present position, we have the High Priestess. So this could just be saying that maybe for some of you intuitively, you know that you need to just step back a little bit, right, and take a more hands-off approach to the situation, right? Just have more faith in the work that you've done and know that it's going to eventually lead to that goal that you've been striving for. Alright, in the near future position, we have the Knight of Cups. So this is another Pisces energy here, just like the High Priestess. So yeah, I feel like this is saying that if you really do get into that flow state, you will start to see more creative ideas come to you as far as how to move your situation forward closer to your goals. And with that, you'll be able to feel that level of freedom, right? A level of flow, a level of movement within the situation. Right, in the position of your influence in the situation, we have Justice. So yeah, this is the major arcana card for Libra. And the Midas is an indicator of, like I said, right now it seems like you're operating very heavily out of the logical, practical side of things, which has its time and place, of course, right? But I feel like this is just saying that currently, this just might not be the time for that, So, like I said, it seems like in the past you were more in the flow. And now it seems like you're at that Page of Pentacles stage, which is close to the goal, but now, because of that, it seems like you're tightening up and getting out of the flow that got you to the point that you are right now. So that's what I'm seeing with that primarily. in the environment position, we have the King of Wands. So yeah, I feel like this is primarily saying that this is the energy that the environment is trying to pull out of you, right? Which is to connect with the more creative side, right? The more action-oriented side, as opposed to just analyzing over and over things along those lines. So, even though this is a Leo energy, it's a fire energy like you guys. I feel like this is saying that this is more like your natural element versus being in that justice energy, which is the opposite of your normal way you operate. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Cups. So, seeing this here, I feel like for some of you this could be pointing to a fear. This is a Scorpio energy, by the way, but the reason why I say it could be playing out as more of a fear for you guys, if we look at the artwork here, it almost looks like they're just in the middle of the water on that throne, right? And it makes me think of that saying, alone on an island, right? So you might feel like if you were to let that flow come back in, you might feel a little bit isolated, right? You might feel like people wouldn't necessarily understand the approach that you have, right? Or why you do what you do. So it could just be one of those things where that could be what's holding you back to an extent. All right. And in the outcome position, we have the Ace of Wands. So yeah, to me this says that as we get to the end of the month, which would make sense as we move into a fellow fire energy for you guys with Sagittarius season kicking off, you'll just be saying that as we get to the end of the month, you'll have that idea. Like the idea will strike you, okay, this is how I could actually get across the finish line with my goal, right? So it's going to be one of those things where no guarantee you're going to take action on it, but at the very least, I feel like just being stuck in that thinking phase, right? I feel like you're finally going to get the right idea that you're going to be confident can move you forward. All right, bottom of the deck, we have the Fool. So yeah, maybe this is another indicator between this and the Ace of Wands that a lot of you will finally take that leap of faith and, take a chance on these ideas that you have that, like I said, for whatever reason, you might have it's really tightened up. Interestingly enough, beneath that we see the Queen of Swords, which is basically Libra energy, just like the Justice card. So yeah, really just seems like, again, like I said, it's not that these energies are bad in any way, right? But it's just one of those things where it doesn't seem like that's the energy you're being asked to embrace at this time. Moving on to your 4 agreements card, we have always do your best. And it says, do your best because you want to. Okay, it says you do your best when you are enjoying the action or doing it in a way that will not have negative repercussions for you. You do your best because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. Not because you are trying to please the judge, and not because you are trying to please other people. So yeah, interesting there, right? Because maybe that's where you're at now, where you're feeling an energy of like duty and obligation, right? Like the Justice card definitely makes me think of those keywords. And it could just be saying that, like I was saying with the Sun card there, just getting more in the flow, right? Where the things will just come more naturally to you anyway. And that tends to be where you do your best work, as is, right? So that could be what that's pointing to there. All right, from the Wisdom Oracle, we have regeneration. There's the artwork, and the number is 46. So we'll see what this has to say. All right, it says rebirth, second chances, new opportunities. The Oracle's message: second chances are available to you now. Whatever opportunities you thought were dead are now revived in a more authentic, stronger form. Whatever you may have perceived as a failure or loss is now being replaced by something better and more powerful growing in its place. This rebirth is assured. Step into your new life. Destiny is being fulfilled in wondrous ways. So yeah, definitely a positive message there for those of you where, like I said, if you are feeling like, oh, I'm not going to reach this goal that I have, right? I feel like this is saying that it will actually take off. Maybe things have slowed down for a bit, but looks like you're going to start to see that acceleration again. The relationship message says the world is based on connections and relationships. No matter what loss has occurred in the past or even now, death and endings are only illusions. There is life after death and love after loss, and in this moment you are radiating the regenerative life force energy that makes you irresistible to love in all forms. Now is the time when you will see evidence of this new emergence. Can you feel it? Love is rising up to greet you. So yeah, definitely a real positive message there as well. Now this did seem to be a lot more like a solo journey as far as the main spread goes, but for those of you looking for some relationship guidance, hopefully that resonated. The prosperity message says, what happens when it appears you failed at something? Do you see the beauty in the lesson? The understanding that arises from difficulties is like a seed that lies dormant for a time. Then, once it germinates in your subconscious, it pushes through into your awareness. It is becoming apparent that there is a new you, a new start, a more powerful version and form of what you began to plant in the garden of your imagination has surfaced. You are ripe for success. New opportunities, much better than those that came before, appear like gifts from the gods. Now is one of those times when out of seeming loss and failure comes remarkable abundance. Do not dwell on the past because you really are experiencing a rebirth. So yeah, definitely a positive message there. And what's interesting too is now I think about those references to rebirth, right? And we did even see the 8th house energy come up in your dice, and we mentioned how one of the energies of 8th house is rebirth. And then for some of you, that could even be what this sun card is pointing to, right? It does have a bit of a rebirth type of vibe to it in the overall context of the reading. So hopefully that resonated. All right, and lastly, we have a mudra for you guys. So this is your mudra here. It's the Ajna Chakra mudra. The keyword for it is clarity. Alright, looks like we can get everything in the frame there. So what I'll do is hold it here for a second if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. And now we'll get the rest of it in the frame. But under benefits, it says, awakens the Ajna Chakra, opens spiritual vision, stimulates the pituitary gland, clarifies the mind, improves concentration and intuition. So if that sounds like a mudra you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.